started, we are happy to welcome the superintendent of Hanover-Horton Schools, John Denny. Hey, John.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, thanks.
Yeah, before the show, John and I were talking about how fast the summer was going by, and I know you're all thinking that too. But yeah, later this week we'll be at pretty much the halfway mark of summer.
It doesn't even seem possible.
It just started.
Yeah, we need a few more weeks of it.
We do. We'll have a lot more. Enjoy every day because it's summer. It's fleeting. So it gives a school district a chance to get some things done without little kids underfoot.
It is much easier to take care of maintenance issues when the kids and teachers are all out of the buildings and get things quieted down a little bit. That this summer we're taking care of our parking lots. We're doing a chip seal and a fog seal on top of it, so when it's done all the cracks will be filled and everything will be nice and smooth and black and look like brand new paving. So hopefully that'll get us a good 10 to 15 years before we have to do much with that. We also have our track is getting redone, that we're putting on a fresh layer of asphalt and then a new rubber track on top.
Oh wow.
Which has been needed. That was part of the project back in the early 2000s, so we got 20 years out of the previous one, which is, you hope to get 15 to 18 years out of it, so we were happy with the time we got out of it.
Was it a rubber track before or just asphalt?
It was rubber. So they came in, they peeled off the old track, were able to assess the base asphalt layer, so put a new cap coat on that to seal in all the little cracks that were starting to form in the base, and put on a brand new rubber track, and hopefully that'll be good for another 15 to 20 years.
Well, yes, because you grow runners at Hanover-Horton Schools. I was at the Hanover Firecracker, and it's amazing how many of your students run in that on the 4th of July. And I don't know how many mellings there are, but I think there are at least 5 mellings in the event. That's quite the running family.
They are. Last runner graduated though, so new batch of kids will step in hopefully. But yeah, that mellings, the family's been great for our running programs, that's for sure.
They informally dedicated the event to the mellings.
That's cool.
For all of their years of participation, and mellings came in number 2 and number 3.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not a runner, but the word is that the cross-country team is so good because the hills on the roads that surround the high school and throughout the area have a lot of elevation, and so does the 5-mile run at 4th of July. That's, I don't know, that's the secret?
That and Dean Blackledge.
Yeah.
I don't know which to give the benefit to, but yeah. We've definitely got a lot of different terrain for them to be able to train on out there, and they get the buy-in. They're doing 2-3 nights fun runs during the entire summer, and go off to a couple different camps just to bond together as a team. And I was very fortunate to get an inside look at that program when my son ran, and it's very impressive. Gave me definitely a new respect and just viewpoint on the sport the running sports altogether.
Yes, and you're right. It is Dean Blackledge. We've got to give him the credit. He's been a very successful coach and so well respected all throughout the state. So keep on coaching.
Absolutely.
All right, so parking lot's going to look brand new, and really the campus looks great. New track. We got the new second gym last year.
Yep.
What
all
else?
The air conditioning's up and running, all the gyms, which has been a crowd favorite. And then we're taking advantage of one of the safety grants to redo the entrance into my office complex. That in the past it's been to a point where we've had to secure buzzer entry into it, but people coming into the superintendent's office had to cross the hallway, which is the same hallway that got kids to the library. So we had the ability of monitoring it, but so right now our staff is working on remodeling that office way, and we're going to cut in a door opposite side of the hallway where it'll be a secure vestibule right into my office space. So we'll make things a little safer taking advantage of some of those safety dollars that are out there.
Now, how about your family? Are you all done? Are the kids
My daughter's going to be a senior this year.
This year, senior,
yep.
okay.
Yep, she's, we had senior pictures taken last week for one of the batches of her photo sessions, and yeah, that's part of where the summer going quick is, it's hitting. As a high school principal, I always told everybody, hold on tight. You know, freshman orientation is going to be the fastest 4 years of your life. You're not going to believe how fast it goes. And I learned it with Evan, and it seems like it's going even faster with Leah. So you can enjoy it, though.
Yeah, you're right. I remember the years my kids were seniors, and it just flew by.
It does.
Yeah. So typically, school district has some staffing changes during the summer, retirements and things like that. How's Hanover-Horton looking?
We have 3 teaching positions to fill. Our elementary staff is conducting interviews to fill a young 5 and a 5th grade position. And our middle school, we ran a posting for middle school math. We had 1 applicant who accepted another position before we had a chance to interview them. So we've got that position posted again. So anybody knows anybody out there that's looking for a great district to teach in, we need a middle school math teacher.
It's going to be tough because it's the same all over. There's not any part of the country, any part of the state that isn't challenged with finding talent, and I think everybody in Jackson County is dealing with that. We
are. It's one that it's been predicted for a while that this shortage was going to hit. And we kept saying we need to change some rules, we need to open some things up, and the process is there to help build the pipeline of teachers. It's just things are being implemented now to where we're likely to be 2-3 years before any of the stuff being set now helps us down the road. But it's tough. You know, we're competing with the best and brightest, and you know, salaries and pension changes and things like that are definitely putting us behind the 8 ball and getting the best and brightest, especially when you get into math and science fields.
And it's almost like dominoes. You pull one out. Like an example would be Ben Gilpin leaving Warner Elementary, and then Matt Damaris leaving Michigan Center to take his job, and then it's just it almost becomes musical chairs around town.
It likely will. And you know, Napoleon's looking for a middle school principal too, I think, during the interview process. And you know, if it's an internal candidate, they got to fill that spot, which means somebody else. You know, it used to be to a point where a teacher would leave a district after being in the same district 30 years. Well, now they tend to migrate a little bit more with some of the changes that are in place. So, you know, the dominoes from Ben taking that superintendent job could be settled up in late September.
Yeah. I saw Ben the other day. He's split. You know, he's torn about leaving. He needs to leave, but it's an opportunity he couldn't pass up.
It's a tough choice when it gets to that point to do. And I had a chance to meet Ben a couple of times. He left the summer I got hired, is when he went over to Western. So wish him well. It's a big step.
Yes, the Gilpin family is a Hanover-Horton family.
They are.
All right, so the governor and the legislature have, it looks like, finalized the budget, and of course that affects schools. And all throughout the process, the governor and legislative leaders have been saying they really are making a big commitment and want to make a significant investment in education. How does the budget look, the state budget for education look when it comes to K-12, particularly for Hanover-Horton?
We're better off going into it than what we could have been. We budgeted low, because our budget has to be approved by our June 30th, and our board meeting was well before that, so we just kind of picked a number. So we'll be in better shape because of that. The hard part is when they keep saying about record levels of funding and all those different buzzwords they like to throw in, when you figure in inflation, we made more money per pupil 2 years ago than we're going to make this year. And I'm not complaining. I mean, having that extra money to be able to increase things is great, but it's not a windfall. It's more of you get to keep doing what you've been doing. You're still looking at, can we afford to keep this extra person, or do we need to downsize it in order to make sure down the road we're going to be, able to operate? And it's one of the big challenges is the fact of as wages shot up in some of the service industry jobs and some of those entry-level type positions, you know, compared to what schools are used to paying for a support staff, you know, an aide, a custodian, food service workers, those get real challenging. So most of what you see going into extra budgets for the schools are going to end up just helping us stay competitive to keep employees.
Yeah, and that's not just inflation. That's just as you mentioned, having to be more competitive with salaries. Plus, I think everybody's dealing with increased costs of supplies and some supply shortages. And once again, like during the pandemic, we have shortage of certain computers that are being used in education.
Mm-hmm. We're fortunate in the fact that we didn't need to add any this year. We bought enough computers a couple years ago to last us a little while.
Last year, you went to the voters. You wanted to ask approval for some financing. Didn't work out. Is that something that you're going to bring back to the voters in some form this year?
I believe we're going to go back at it in the next May election. Mm-hmm. It's just a good time for us to be able to get the word out on that. There was a lot of confusion. The requirements of how a ballot is worded did not do us any favors. We had a lot of people that wanted to know why we were levying 40 mils because they saw it as an additional 20 mil operating mill or 18 mil operating millage, but we wrote it for 20 to give us that rollback cushion down the road. You know, and it just, there was confusion there, so we're hopeful that with some extra time to be able to get that message out there a few more times and be able to just state our claim, you know, state our case on it and be able to get it locked in time.
Summer's the time where families are moving. It's a chance for people to take a look at schools. For those interested in Hanover-Horton, are there opportunities coming up where people can check out the district?
Best thing is to go to hanoverhorton.org, check out our website. Our principals pretty much get the month of July off, but they pop in from time to time. But I will be there more days than not, and I am always more than happy to give somebody a personal tour of the district and give them not only the superintendent speech, but the parent of two speech, and just let them know everything we got going on and why it's been such a great district for my kids.
And I take it your son survived his, is it first year of teaching?
He did. He was thriving. End of the year, he really hit a groove, and he's really enjoying himself. So next year he's moving up to 7th grade. So he gets to go from teaching geography to world history, which world history is his passion area. So he is super excited. Gonna have a bunch of the same kids he had last year. So he's excited. He's chomping at the bit to get into his classroom, but he's waiting for the summer cleaning to get done so he doesn't get in anybody's way while he's in there.
All right. Well, we appreciate all the updates. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
You as well.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Hanover-Horton Schools Superintendent, John Denny. We've got